would do a quick video talking about the intro and the outro, why I say what I say, why it's called Rejoice Refuge, and why it's the symbol of the four-leaf clover. So,
Maganda Umaga. I'm Hannah Joy, and this is Rejoice Refuge, a safe haven where we talk about all kinds of things. Occasional appearances and often background noise brought to you by my fur babies and co-hosts.
I thought I would do a quick video talking about the intro and the outro. So you may have noticed that it sounds like I'm speaking a different language to start with. So Magandang Umaga and Magandang Araw at the end, they're phrases from the language called Tagalog, which is spelled Tagalog. It's the language of the Philippines, so quick little bit of history. I was a missionary for a time, and if I had anywhere that I could pick and choose to live outside of the US, it would be the Philippines. I love the culture, I love the people there. National Geographic at one point in time did a study on the people groups, and they said the Filipinos were the happiest people in the world. They are people that love to start decorating and kind of celebrate Christmas starting in September. So I would say that they are some of the happiest. One of the things about the language is you can tell that at one point in time they were part of the Spanish colonies uh, because there is some Spanish influence and you can hear that, but you don't see it in the spelling because everything's spelled very different. So Magandang Umaga means good morning, and Magandang Araw means good day. And my thinking with having that at the beginning and at the end of the videos is that whether or not I'm recording in the morning, or whether or not I put this video out in the morning, or whether or not you watch it in the morning, I still want to greet you with good morning, because to me, just the idea of good morning is, I don't know, it's very welcoming. So no matter what time of the day it actually is, or whether it's morning for you and you're starting your day, uh, I still want to start out the videos by wishing you a good morning as you join me in the videos. And at the end, I say good day because, again, no matter what time of the day the videos are released or what time of the day you're ending the video on, even if it's towards the end of your day and you're just headed to bed, I still want to say, like, good day. I hope you have a good, blessed day. The rest of your day, whatever is left to the day. And again, I just really like the language. So I chose those phrases, but I chose them in the language that I kind of prefer. I like it. It has a tinkling bell type sound to it. It might be all the uses of G's. I don't know, but I love the sound and the feel of that language. I think it's pretty. At the end of the videos, I've started kind of adding a little bit more to it. You'll notice that I say to find your voice because you are worth being seen, being heard, and being known. And even though that may not seem like it pertains with the video and everything that I said up until that point, it's kind of like I wanted a a tagline, if you will, but I also wanted a reminder to you. For me, again, a little bit of history, but I started deconstructing it in, towards the end of 2021. And one of the things that started to come out of it was in the healing process, I kind of was encouraged to find my voice. And I felt like I should join the Clock app. which is kind of funny because I had previously told my friends I would never join that app. But in joining it, I began to figure out how to make videos and became a little bit more comfortable with myself on camera. However, for the most part, I do lip sync and write because that is just more what I do is have a little bit of writing on the screen and lip sync something and do a POV, whatever. I'm more of a blogger and a writer than necessarily an orator. However, with the possible loss of the Clock app, uh, twice now, I started feeling like, hey, I should join this app. However, there's so many restrictions, and I'm not really sure how much I can do lip syncing and not get some sort of violation for infringing on somebody else's sound or whatever. So, plus it's a little harder to pause and read whatever's written and I don't know, this the apps all seem to work differently. And so I'm like, hey, I think I should probably actually try and find my voice. Originally, I felt I was supposed to join the Clock app in order to, find my actual voice, but I got more comfortable doing lip syncing and writing stuff. And so now I was feeling more pressured even last year to actually join this app and try and actually literally find my voice. And it's one of those things where in healing, you find your voice. And finding your voice may be finding your worth in different ways. It may be speaking up. It may simply be walking out. It may simply be being a mom or whatever it could be. There's different ways in which you are valuable and you are worth being known and being loved as you are because somebody who truly knows you and truly cares about you, I have learned because in 2021, I actually also, I not only started seeing a therapist, which, by the way, if you're seeing a therapist and it hasn't gone well, it's quite possible you haven't found a good therapist. So I finally found a good therapist in the fall of 2021. No, in the fall of 2022. But I also, in the fall of 2022, got a couple good friends. I can't really talk too much about them because it's Celebrate Recovery related. And so, with anonymity and all that kind of stuff, I can't really talk too much about it. But I found a couple friends who are totally understanding and totally, they don't see the different things as a burden or as pressure, that I struggle sometimes with feeling like Galahad off. There were so many times growing up and with different past friendships, I felt like I was a burden if I doubted our relationship or if I had questions or if they didn't respond fast enough and there were issues. Whereas what I have learned is that with good, wholesome friends, if you struggle with CPTSD and you struggle with some rejection fears and things like that, good wholesome friends will recognize that it's out of trauma that you're asking, "Hey, are we okay?" And they'll just confidently like verify it. They won't say, "Oh, I feel pressured. Oh, you're a burden. I shouldn't feel like I have to respond right away," kind of thing. They'll recognize where it's coming from and they'll be okay validating that. And so, no matter what I'm talking about in the videos, I still want to do like a little parting and a where I remind you to find your voice because however it is, um that your voice is, I hope you find it. Whether it is creating videos and talking for the last year, even though I was hoping to eventually come on this app and create videos, I was just recording myself talking to a camera and getting used to that kind of thing, just talking to nobody in particular. in preparation for eventually maybe putting the videos, actually uploading them onto this app. Sometimes finding your voice is writing a letter to your past abusers and not sending it. Sometimes it is sending it. Sometimes there's different things in finding your voice. But I'm really hoping that no matter what I've talked about previously, if nothing else, that I impart to you that you have value, whatever that may look like for you, that your voice matters, however that may look like for you, that you are worth being known and being seen and being heard as you are, whatever that may look like for you. Because again, you are valuable. Another thing is you'll notice at the beginning there's a four-leaf clover, and you might kind of wonder, like, why a four-leaf clover? So originally, Rejoice Refuge, it started out with the title Rejoice Refuge, and then I felt it was too short and added a couple more R's. Because my dream is to kind of have like a hobby farm slash a ranch and someday own horses or I don't know what, because I'm not, I couldn't really take care of them, but it's a childhood dream, if you will. And there was always this idea of branding, like what is the symbol of your ranch, if you will. And I picked the four-leaf clover because what I was thinking was, what is out there that has four that could represent like greenery and gardening and healing and growth, some vegetative type situation. And I thought of the four-leaf clover because originally it was four R's, and so each leaf was in the shape of an R. I also originally had four animals in this house. So I had two cats and two dogs. And I was a foster parent, and I hope to also help foster, especially giant breed dogs, if they came into this area in need of like fostering, because I got a fenced-in yard and was figuring I would do all that kind of stuff. So originally, the video at the beginning would have been the four leaves would have been in shape of R's, but also they represented the four permanent animals of this place, and I was hoping that each, animal would have its own little leaf and it would somehow spin into the leaf and then the leaf would morph into an R and that kind of thing. But as things would happen, I lost one of the cats last year to old age. It was a rescue cat, so not completely sure on its age. For different reasons, I had to put a lot of the original stuff that I used to do or plans on hold. So like I'm not a foster parent anymore. I had to put the whole uh fostering other animals on hold for a while. And so it just kind of made sense to reduce it to just Rejoice Refuge, the original title. However, I still wanted to keep the four-leaf clover because to me that was still the um symbol of my estate. Now you might be like, oh, you have an estate. I don't know if it's technically called an estate. Like, if an estate has to be so many acres and so many square footage to the house, then no. This is not quite a tiny home, but it's a little home, and uh, there's only like point 0.2 or maybe even less acres. Um, and so it doesn't count in that respect. However, if an estate is simply an estate because it's so in the eyes of the beholder, then to me, it's an estate. I really love this place. So if that counts as an estate, then it's an estate, and I wanted to give it a title, and I wanted it to have a symbol for what it represents. And so the four-leaf clover has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with healing and growth and just restoration, like in the springtime kind of thing. If you've ever owned a yard with a lot of dogs and, dogs pee and poop all over your yard, Clover sometimes seems to be the most resilient, the first thing that can actually come up after winter. Um, and whereas the rest of the yard can sometimes be mud just from them tracking and creating paths and packing the earth a good bit during the winter. So clovers to me represent healing, and the point Rejoice Refuge was supposed to be a place of refuge for uh, the the kids in the foster system and that kind of thing. But once you know, it's kind of interesting. Sometimes God knows things well before I do or you do, and I really felt like he had given me that name originally. And it turns out that, starting in 22, I started doing a lot of healing. Um, and so this place basically started having to become a refuge for me. And in bringing you along with these videos and bringing you along in the story of deconstructing, I'm kind of hoping that for however short or long that we are together in these videos, that you also feel a little sense of peace and a little sense of refuge. So there you go. That's the opening and the closing of my videos. Why I say what I say, uh, and why it's called Rejoice Refuge, and why it's the symbol of the four-leaf clover. So, magandang araw. Remember, find your voice because you are worth being seen, being heard, and being known. You matter. Until next time, continue being a blessing, y'all.